Welcome to this micro lecture on the autonomic nervous system. This video will explain the differences between its sympathetic and parasympathetic components. The nervous system has several divisions. The major divisions are the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is further divided into a sensory component and a motor component. The motor division is further subdivided into a somatic component, which sends output to our skeletal muscle, and an autonomic component, which sends output to smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, and glands. The autonomic nervous system is further subdivided into a sympathetic component and a parasympathetic component. These two divisions differ on their physiological responses as well as how they are laid out in the nervous system. The sympathetic division, which is our fight or flight division, is activated in extreme situations, when you exercise, when there's an emergency, when you're embarrassed. And it's going to lead to changes such as an increase in heart rate, causes dilation of your bronchioles, dilations of your pupils. It's going to decrease input to your digestive tract. The parasympathetic division is the rest and relax division. It's going to decrease your heart rate. It's going to constrict your bronchioles as well as your pupils, and it's going to increase your digestive activity. Normal maintenance and relaxation functions. So the two systems counterbalance each other, and it's not that one is dormant while the other is active. They each are active to a certain degree all the time. It's just that they will change their level of activity depending on the needs of the system. Now I want to talk about the anatomical divisions. In both systems, parasympathetic and sympathetic, there are two neurons that carry information out to the target cell. That differs from the somatic nervous system because that's carrying information straight to the muscle, only involves one neuron, straight to skeletal muscle. Here there are two. And each system is going to influence, for the most part, the same organs, with a few exceptions. It's just what they do to those organs that varies. Right? So, in terms of their structural arrangements, there are a couple major differences. One is where the neuron cell body is located for the preganglionic neuron. So I told you there are two neurons involved. One has its cell body here in the central nervous system, represented by this box here, at the level of the brainstem and the sacral region. That's the parasympathetic division. The neuron whose cell body is in the brainstem or sacral region is called the preganglionic neuron, and it's going to go out and form a synapse with the second one. That's the postganglionic neuron. Same is true for the sympathetic division. One neuron has its cell body within the central nervous system. For sympathetic division, it's within the thoracic and lumbar regions of the spinal cord. It's going to go out and form a synapse with the second one, who sends its axon to the target. Where we have a group of cell bodies in the periphery, we call it a ganglion. And hence, the neuron that's sending input to the ganglion is called the preganglionic neuron in both cases. In the parasympathetic division, the preganglionic cell bodies are in brainstem and sacral region of the spinal cord. In the sympathetic division, they're within the thoracic and lumbar regions of the spinal cord. The neuron that it forms a synapse with, who then sends its axon out to the target, is called the postganglionic neuron. Postganglionic neuron in the sympathetic division, postganglionic neuron in the parasympathetic division. All right, so one difference is where the preganglionic cell bodies are located. A second difference is how long the axons are for the preganglionic versus the postganglionic axons. In the sympathetic division, the synapse occurs close to the spinal cord. So the preganglionic axons are short, and the postganglionic axons are long because they have to go all the way to the target. In the parasympathetic division, the preganglionic axons are long because the synapse happens relatively close to the target. And the postganglionic axons are short. So that's another structural difference. And the third major difference is the neurotransmitter that's released by the postganglionic neurons. In both divisions, the preganglionic neurons release acetylcholine. In the parasympathetic division, acetylcholine is also released by the postganglionic neurons. Whereas in the sympathetic division, the postganglionic neurons release norepinephrine. Rare exception is the sweat glands. They actually also use acetylcholine. But for the most part, they're releasing norepinephrine to have an effect on the target organ. So they each are going to go for the most part to the same organs. Here's the heart, my crude stomach. This is adrenal gland. There are some exceptions, like the adrenal gland here, only gets stimulation from the sympathetic division.